Hey there, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Diana and the Book Hunt. On this beautiful, amazingly hot summer day, I decided it's a good day to talk about some summer reads, books that you can pick up at the beach or by the pool or somewhere higher up in the mountain where you can cool off. This is where I want to be at the moment. I have just the reads for you if you're planning on taking some books with you when you're on a holiday or when you just have some time off this summer. Five of the books that I'm going to recommend are books that I've already read, and other five that I've picked up are ones that I'm going to be reading hopefully by the end of the summer. So stay tuned to see which books I picked for this recommendation video. The first book I'm going to be recommending is an amazingly popular one by a very talented author. Her name is Emily Henry. You all know her by now because I've recommended her books before. The book is called Booklovers. It's her latest release, and it's one which is set in a small town in North Carolina, I believe. And we have two people who are in the literary world. We have Nora, who is a literary agent, and we have Charlie, who is an editor. Both of them run in the same circles. They're presented as somewhat of rivals in the book, although I don't really buy into that as a reader. At least when I read the book, I didn't feel like they were rivals. And they have a forced proximity situation because they end up for the whole summer in this small town. They bump into each other the whole time, and additionally, they're forced to work together because Nora's biggest client decided to hire Charlie to be her book editor for her latest release. They have a very interesting relationship building up from the start already up to the end, and we have amazingly great side characters within the book. The setting is really cute in the small town, and we have kind of almost a situation of a book within a book, which is very interesting to read about. So this is definitely worth your time. It's a page turner, so I think that it's a good read for by the pool or at the beach. Now, the second book that I have on this list is again a book which focuses on literary characters, and I think that out of the two, this one is actually the more superior one. It's The Roughest Draft by Emily Wibberly and Austin Siegemund-Broka. This is a married author duo who have written a book about an author duo, which is very interesting. We're following Katrina and Nathan in dual POV, but also in dual timelines where we have past and present. We find out how they meet each other, how they find out that they are very compatible in terms of their writing, and they become a writer duo where they also release a bestseller. But their book deal requires them to write another book. And the thing is, in the present chapters, we find out that they've had a falling out, which makes the situation of writing another book quite problematic for both of them. This book is absolutely marvelous. It's more serious than Booklovers, I think, and it deals with more of the literary mastery of writing a fiction novel than Booklovers does. But I do think that it's an amazing read for the summer. The setting is they're in this villa in Florida. It's summery as well, and we have beautiful scenery that is described. We have beautiful side character, not really characters, but one side character who is also very fascinating. So I absolutely recommend this one as well. The next book that I want to recommend is a more lighter read. That one is called Shipt by Angie Hockman. We have a workplace romance where Henley, the female main character, she works at the, I believe, marketing department at a cruise line firm. And we have Graham, who works for the same firm but in another city, and both of them are competing for the same promotion within the firm that they work for. So what their boss thinks of doing is to send them on one of their cruise ships where they need to gather material to make a marketing campaign to make the line more popular. So both of them embark on this journey to go on this cruise ship to the Galapagos Islands. And we have a paradise setting. We have two characters who are rivals, who are competing for the same position. We have a bit of a forbidden aspect because they are co-workers, and we also have a bit of a situation where the main character Henley, she has some kind of assumptions about Graham, but whether she's right or not is something that you need to find out when you read this book. It's a very good read for the summer. It's also a page turner. I really enjoyed it. The next book I want to recommend, if you want to pick up a sports romance for your summer read, it's one which I absolutely adored. It's called The Summer Proposal by Keeland. It's one which I picked up at the beginning of the year and I gave 4.5 to 5 stars to. For a sports romance, that's absolutely exceptional. I love this book because it has an amazing meet cute at the beginning of the book where we have Max and Georgia meeting at this unconventional meet cute. Georgia has a blind date. She's sitting at this bar and she's waiting for the guy to arrive. In the meantime, Max is outside. He's passing through the bar and he sees her and he decides immediately that she's fascinating and he needs to meet her. So he goes into the bar and she kind of assumes that he's her blind date and he goes with it. He goes with the flow. So he kind of tries to persuade her before her blind date arrives that he is the guy for her, and they have an amazing conversation with each other. In the meantime, things happen, the story progresses, and he proposes at some point a summer proposal where they have a summer fling without any strings attached, and we find out whether it's going to be a no strings attached situation or something more. You need to pick up the book to find out more. I absolutely loved it and I do recommend it. The last book that I actually did read that I want to recommend to you is by Christina Lauren. It's their latest release, Something Wilder. And this has a different type of setting where we have the main characters being in Utah in the Red Rock Canyon area. So it's not a beachy type of read, but it's a very adventurous type of read because they go on a treasure hunt. We have the main character Lily and Leo, who in their 20s were very seriously involved in a relationship. They were very much in love, but something happened that tore them apart. So they split up. And then 10 years later, by chance, because Leo has a friends group, a couple of guys who are going on annual vacations together, they decide to visit this Red Rock Canyon and to go on a treasure hunt, which is organized by Lily. So this is their chance encounter and their way to get a second chance at their romance. It's a very interesting book because it has a romance, it has a treasure hunt, it has a suspenseful situation as well. So I think it's a very good, appropriate summer read as well. Next up, we'll continue on with books that I haven't picked up yet, which I'm very excited about to read in the next couple of weeks. The first one being, no surprise to anyone, a book by a favorite author of mine, Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's called Malibu Rising. This is a book that I've had for a couple of months now, and I've been holding off on reading it because I really want to pick it up in the summer, in August, when I'm on my summer holiday. I want to read it at the beach where I can really just take my time to immerse myself into the story and enjoy it to the fullest. What we know about this story, what I know about this story, is that it centers around McRiva, who is one of the husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and his family, his daughter and 2 sons. They'll be hosting this end of summer party, this glamorous, very glamorous high life end of summer party where something goes wrong. This is what I gathered from the blurb at the back of the book, and I'm really very excited to pick this one up. The next book is one which I'm also very curious about because it sounds like an amazingly cute concept. We have The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This book has been making its rounds on Book Talk already from last summer, I believe, and I've had it on my TBR since then. It centers around our main heroine who is going to a wedding at Martha's Vineyard, and her family has this annual game of assassin that they play, and they're going to play it during the wedding situation that they have there, and she meets this groomman with whom she decides to team up, and they kind of, or she at least, falls for him. So it's interesting to find out whether it's going to lead to something more serious. This is something that I'm really excited about to pick up, this book. And then the next one is also one which has been making its rounds, but I believe more on Bookstagram and BookTube. This one is called Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. It's a very angsty second chance romance where we have a childhood friends to lover situation as well. We have Persephone and Sam, who have been spending summers together for 5 or 6 years, and they've been best friends, but they've also developed feelings for each other until at some point something happens at one of the summers and they get torn apart. Now, fast forward a couple of years, Persephone needs to go back to her hometown and confront her feelings and her past with Sam because of a traumatic event that happens, and she needs to go back. So it sounds like a very angsty second chance romance, which I absolutely love, and I'm very excited for this one. Another wedding themed book that I think is going to be absolutely amazing to read in the summer is called The Wedding Season by Katy, Birchall. This book centers around our main heroine, Freya, who is supposed to get married to her fiance at the beginning of the book, which is also the beginning of the wedding season. But he dumps her on the wedding day, which absolutely sucks. And what sucks more is that all of her friends have decided to get married in the same year, so she needs to keep attending these weddings being single without having a husband. So her friends have come through and they've decided to make this plan to kind of distract her from her predicament. So they've thought of challenges that she needs to complete while she's attending the weddings. And I think that this sounds like an amazingly cute concept, and I can't wait to pick it up. And then the last book that I have on my list that I haven't picked up yet that I'm very excited about is by Lucy Score. I've read Things We Never Got Over a couple of months ago, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite reads for this year, and I can't wait to pick up more books by this author because the book that I did read had amazing banter, an amazing setting as well, small town setting, so I really, really loved it. The book that I want to read this summer is called Maggie Moves On, and it centers around a YouTube sensation, Maggie, who is flipping houses, and she's found this amazing, glorious Victorian house in a small town in Idaho where she's going to start a project of renovating it. And there she meets the landscaper Silas, who is possibly her match. So I really, really am excited to find out whether I'm going to like this one as much as the previous book that I read by this author, and I'll let you know once I pick it up. Thank you for watching my 10 book recommendations for summer reads for this year. Please let me know what you're going to be picking up this summer, whether you're going to the beach or going to be sipping cocktails by the pool. Let me know what books are going to accompany you. Also, let me know whether any of the books I've discussed are books that you've already picked up or are interested in, what you thought about them. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Happy reading, have a marvelous day, take care, and bye-bye.